She's been a member for about 8 months. She's an event planning consultant and offers office hours. And she's also the founder of Joy Sprout Productions and Creative Symposium for Women Leaders. She is going to be presenting today on women's leadership, and creativity, and she can definitely talk more about that. But Anna was honored as Seattle's E-Women Network 2007 Emerging Leader, and she sold her 5-year financial planning practice in 2010 in order to create Joy Sprout Productions to help cause-driven leaders attract their tribe, build sustainable community, and share their cause in a way that unleashes their joy and creativity in the community. And I think you can do a much better job of describing what you do than I can with this little tiny computer. So I'll have you pop up and I'll send your slides.
It's been on.
So I'm 17 years old, and I'm at the CISPIS Learning Center at the Mount Adams Leadership Camp. Are any of you familiar with that? Oh, we've got a couple. Yeah! And I'm sitting there, we're at the middle of a talent show, and there's a guy that walks up, and he just biffs it on his face. Now, we're high schoolers, right? We're all officers of our schools, and nobody laughs. In fact, everybody starts to cheer, and they say, "Come on, you can do it, just get up, it's all right, come on." And I remember in that moment looking around and thinking, oh, this is leadership, right? Creating safe environments for people to thrive. And even when they fail, encouraging them. And that's where I really got struck with being able to create really creative environments, which is what I do today, as well as inspire leadership. So fast forward, I never thought myself as a woman leader, I was just a leader. How many of you can relate to that? As a woman or non-woman? Okay, great. And when I came to, when I read this book, Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In, how many of you have read that book before? Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg. She is the COO of Facebook. And in it, she said, I think a vision for a better world looks like if half the countries were actually run by women and half the countries were run by men, I think there could be a better world at play. Now, also in that, there it is a striking statistic that while now more college graduates are women, 57%, that hasn't translated at all into leadership. In fact, less than 5%, this says 3, but now it's 5% of women are actually CEOs, even though they're over half the workforce. And what's up with that? When I was shocked because I was like, oh yeah, it's equal, we're good, gender thing, whatever. But when I actually read what was so, I was like struck by that. And so, in response to that is partially why I created Creativity Symposium as a way just to create a forum for women to be able to support each other in getting the access and connections that they needed. And within 3 weeks, we had about 63 people come of marketing and 10 speakers. So there's a strong response right away. So today, we're just going to gloss over all this because it's obviously a huge, bigger issue that we can't cover in 10 minutes. But I just want to really get a sense of the complex landscape that it actually is. It's not a simple matter, and then look at what 21st century leadership skills really look like. Okay, so Sarah. Okay, great. So I'm going to start with a clip from BuzzFeed called "If Men Were Women," and I'll just like.
And we're gonna head out. Bye.
Okay, let us walk you. Seriously. Okay, 2 seconds. Go ahead.
Finish. Go.
Okay, 2 minutes. All right.
So what do you want to watch? I want to watch it. All right, guys. Thank you. All have been great. Have a good night.
Hey, you were really funny. We were like epically impressed. It's like hard to find like a dude that's funny.
All right, so You can laugh it. So what are some of the leadership challenges that you noticed just in that clip? Don't raise your hand. Stereotypes. Stereotypes, okay. What else?
No role models.
No role models, okay. Great, and that's actually something that there's now research backing up too as well. Anything else? Musical Alright. So yeah, there's a lot of different things at play. Okay. So again, it's not just something that's happening at work. The statistic I gave to you earlier was pertaining to business environments, but it's a larger societal issue. Now, there's something called, in 1985, a woman named Alison Bechtel wrote this cartoon saying, it was a kind of a feminist cartoon, and she said, I'm never going to go watch a movie unless it follows these 3 elements. Number 1, it must have at least 2 named women in it. Number 2, who talk to each other. Number 3, about something besides a man. Now, when I first saw this, I was like, that's ridiculous. Of course our movies do that now. And then when I actually researched it, looked into it, it turns out, how many of you, what percentage do you think passed this test?
It's like 30, 30.
70?
30.
30?
25.
35?
20.
Okay, fine. So there's a database that collected 5,757 movies, and 57% passed. Now, again, this doesn't have to be, you can't gauge an individual movie against this test. Like Mulan would fail this test, but obviously that's an empowering women's movie, and there's plenty of movies that might pass this but are still sexist. But as a whole, it helps us look at, are women actually have a character in the movie versus being an accessory. So in IMDb, if you take a look at 2013's top 50 grossing movies, 24 passed, which is 48%. And there's a 1.5 billion difference more money made for the ones that actually did pass. So there's a myth out there like, oh, the consumers or whatever they want a white male protagonist, but that's not necessarily the case. Especially since women are actually the vast majority of movie watchers. And then, interesting enough, like 10 out of 14 Pixar movies failed the test, but things like Disney princess movies actually passed, so it's just interesting, right? It's all over the place. And here's a clip from Hunger Games, again, just iterating how more money is actually made when we consider this. So why women leadership? Why? Okay, so 2 gentlemen are authors, Poulsbo and Antonio. They went around to 64,000 countries, 13 nations and surveyed 64,000 people. And they asked them, what do you think are the top traits of 21st century leaders? So they had a whole list, and they surveyed obviously both men and women. And then after they got the results in, then they asked, okay, would you assign a feminine trait, would you assign this trait as feminine or masculine? And what was surprising, and those are some of the traits that got categorized either feminine or masculine. So things like empathy, collaboration were feminine, things like analytical, decisive were male. And they found that all of the top traits, except for one, strategic, was feminine. So it's interesting, right? Because we all have masculine and feminine in us to be able to cultivate, but it demits the idea that you've got to be this strong, driving, kind of masculine approach to leadership. And this is, they graphed it out. So the pink dots in the corner over here are the feminine ones that rank higher than the ones over here. And then overall, they found that over 2/3 of people surveyed thought that the world would be a better place if men thought more like women. It's harsh, it's a bold statement, but I think what it means to apply is simply, what if we embody more of our feminine? We've got a lot of masculine. So another take on it was from 2 top global leadership experts. How many of you have heard of Zenger and Goldman? How many of you know what 360-degree assessments are at the workplace? Okay, and for those of you who don't, it's just where you take somebody's being evaluated and you take somebody that is a subordinate, a a direct report, a boss, and their peers, and they all rate you. So these guys over the last 10 years have been studying this topic extensively. And what they found is that they surveyed over 48, several thousand people, and about 2/3 of the pool was men, and about 1/3 was women. And then they had each person who was being evaluated have 13 different angles from different perspectives rated. And they had these competencies. So takes initiative, practice self-development, displays high integrity, drives results, were what they were being rated on. And what came out was how women outranked men in all the areas. Now, they came out with this article, which I think is very bold, right? Because just even in 2011, the title from the study showing the results was something like, "Are women better leaders?" And then they present the data, and then 4 years later, they came out with why women are more effective leaders than men. And it's just 51.8% to 54.5%. The male who was rating this was like, that's, even though a small margin, it's huge when you look at the statistical data of how many people were actually surveyed. And then they looked at also across the field in many different industries. They also debunked the myth that certain male-dominant industries like sales or IT or legal, that men did better, but again, the women were rated more effective by mostly men, or men's peers. So this is just interesting, right? And then they looked at likability. So women tend to hold the line, and initially there's also an age factor here. Men, like in their 30s, are more liked than women, and then once women hit 40, then they like the women better. And this just shows that as males get higher up, they become less liked, but women do the same. So what does this all mean? So in response to some of this, before I go there, it's interesting to look at why is there a gap? Because one of the big myths is that women are less effective. And that's why it is the way it is. And so the research, right, is showing otherwise. But then also to look at, it still asks the question, why the gap? And there's been a lot done organizationally as development in organizations, and just one-on-one and having leadership trainings for women, etc. Women of influence, women president organizations, and all these things have delivered some sort of result, but still the gap persists. And I assert, and the whole discovery I made in just creating this talk is perhaps we're totally focusing in the wrong place. Like, you don't need to train women who may be already effective. So some counterpoints to what Lean In says. So Lean In is all about, like, women just gotta step in, they gotta sit at the table more, they gotta don't opt out of working, have kids when you don't even have a husband yet, you gotta, be assertive, that kind of thing. There's 2 studies that were done. One just came out 2 months ago, and it was by 2 women. It was a Harvard Business Review study, and it shared how some women, they discovered women are leading it. They took a pool of a whole bunch of graduate millennials and boomer women, like all ages, from Harvard, and they figured, okay, these people are top talent that are clearly being groomed equally, no matter what gender they are, to lead and succeed in the world. So then they tracked them over time to see what happens. And they found, I'm just going to focus on the millennials because that's our next generation of people coming through. And that's like for anybody right now that's under 32 years of age, 1982 and younger. So they found that people in those millennial groups had a mismatch of expectations. In fact, it was like 56% of men expect that their career will take precedence over their partners. And then for women, it was just 26% expect their career to take precedence over their partners. And then in reality, what happens is it's the opposite. So more men end up taking precedence and more women don't. So there's a disparity of mismatched expectations. One fulfills and exceeds on the expectation for the men, and then for the women, it doesn't meet the expectation like that. And they also found it for childcare. Who's going to assume responsibility? Way more men expect the woman will, than the women do. So that was like the only thing that they could see, because out of this whole pool, only 11% of these women were actually going back to be stay-at-home moms. In other words, like, 89% of them all were in the race, like working 52 hours a week or more, doing everything that they needed to do, and yet there's still the disparity, or the gap. So what they found from all this is, okay, maybe we're totally focusing on the wrong area. It's not about leaning in, because they are. It's actually about, another point Sheryl Sandberg made, is make your partner a real partner. And whatever that's going to look like for each individual, but in a household, what's it really look like taking care of the kids in the home and having a career? And it's been troubling both for men as well to even say in the workplace, yeah, my kids are important, I want to go home, because then they end up suffering in both. So there's that challenge on both sides. James Allworth, who's a fellow of growth and innovation at Harvard, also said it's actually not women who should be leaning in, it's men who should step back. And what he's really talking about here is that, actually men should step back, but he's saying we're such a culture of basically overworking and driving and driving and driving. And he says, she's like, Sandberg shouldn't be emphasizing that women need to emulate the male model of working and driving and being aggressive, that actually the model itself could be flawed, of having to work so much. And that the real, I can extrapolate this further, he didn't say this, but that women just aren't, time and time again, it shows that women do want to prioritize family over work. And so when they look at the C level, they're like, I don't want to work those hours, and so that's why they opt out, because they do prioritize family more. And so what would it look like, right, if we all could feel like we could do that without damaging our career? Like, is the career our end all be all? And he also goes on to say how the biggest regret that this gal who's a patient for hospice people that were dying, and all her male patients, she said at the end, there's like all these 5 things that emerged of regrets, and one of the top regrets was, I wish I didn't work so much. They missed the day's leg, they missed the pain, life, etc. So there's that bigger systemic thing that really might be where to focus on. And then, so going back to the Athena Doctrine, that book, they say feminine traits or values are really the new form of innovation. And that's just an interesting thought. So, to close this talk, I just want to end on, perhaps if we go back to Sheryl Sandberg, a truly equal world would be where, again, women are running half the countries and men are running half the homes. Perhaps it's just make an addition to that, minus the extreme hour job culture that we have, where we all, whether we're male or female, can engender and practice feminine traits.